And they pull me off, and they separate the two of them, and they kick Duncan Menas out of the bar, and his friends follow. And that's my first bar fight ever. I lasted all like 30 seconds, and I won.
Fantastic.
Now, just so we know, this meeting may end in 7 minutes.
Right, because you don't have an unlimited account.
No.
Oh, I have an unlimited account. I can just set the invite for next time.
Okay. Go ahead.
Or can we switch to mine? Or is there any way of doing that?
If you're the host, it work.
Can you switch the host?
I don't know.
Let's find out.
Well, there's a host as me, so if I go,
I don't think switching hosts would work. It's because it's the account that's being used.
Right. Okay.
So let's just. See.
I also have an unlimited account for next time. Yeah, it doesn't change anything.
Yeah, I just made Tim the host, and it's still going.
Well, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens when it gets to like the 6:03, or when it gets past the 6-minute mark or whatever it is.
It's at 5:59.
Yeah, it's already past that point now.
Well, I'd say we just dial back in and Keith can edit it, but I'm not sure he knows how to.
I have no problem editing it together. I can stitch it. That's not a problem. Will it continue on like 40 minutes a meeting or 40 minutes a...
It's 45 minutes a meeting if you don't have a paid account.
Yeah, then but if I'm the host now, will my account take over is the question.
No.
Okay. Well, that's pretty definitive.
That's an answer to the question, isn't it? All right. So when this one ends, can I just start the same meeting again?
Yeah, we have to click on the link again, or hit enter on your tab, whatever you did to enter the meeting.
It's more of an inconvenience than it is.
Yeah, right. It's not the end of the world.
That's fine.
Yeah.
As we know it.
I feel fine.
So what do you want to talk about for 5 whole minutes? That after that harrowing story.
It wasn't harrowing. It was very scary at the time. I didn't know what was going to happen. I could have been knifed. Who knows? These things.
No, you're right. You're right. That's an actual thing. I mean, this is a bar in London, Ontario, that let's face it, isn't on the nice part of Richmond Row.
No.
It's not like people don't get stabbed around there. It does happen.
Right.
So you have some legit worries there.
Keith and I were shot at right next door.
I was gonna say this from the man who made the bulletproof blanket.
That sounds like that could be a starter.
One of the many times I've been shot at.
Yeah, which I found out after the fact. I mean, how did you know there was a bullet? Well, I've been shot at. You've been what? I've been your friend for 20 years. You never told me you've been shot at before.
He used to run with a real rough crowd.
I kind of did, actually, but no. So let me regale you with that story in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. We were at my now ex's Erica's place, which was across the street from said bar, about four stories up. No, it's 3-story walk up. So 3 stories up. Erica is literally drunk, dead to the world, asleep in the bedroom. Rob's out laying down on the couch with a blanket on him because he was chilly, because he's got no meat on his body.
Because you have the window open as you're smoking.
Was this the bulletproof blanket or just the regular?
This is a bulletproof blanket. And I'm like, oh, there's a kerfuffle going on outside. And there was. Kerfuffling was being had outside. And then I heard a pop, and about, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 inches away from my head, a hole appears in the window, in the double-pane window. And then we hear bink, 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 and it was like, okay, what the hell was that? So Rob's like, no, it's a car backfiring. No, it's fine. No, somebody threw a rock. I'm like, somebody threw a rock.
No, that was not me. That was not me. No. Okay, first of all, this whole story is horribly wrong.
How is this whole story?
You didn't interrupt your story.
It's completely right.
Continue with your accounting. I will correct the record afterwards. Go ahead.
Here you go.
Okay. So yeah, she said that somebody threw something at the window. And I'm like, somebody threw something at the window up 3 stories and went through a double-paned window. As this thing goes through the window, I duck down and look over at Rob on the couch with the blanket up at his neck. Where'd he go?
He's had enough of your bullshit. I can't listen to any more of this story.
Where'd he go?
I don't know. He, for those of you listening, Rob dropped off for some reason.
We'll find out where he went.
Dropped off the call, to be specific.
Yes. He's not ducking gunfire. Well, we assume he's not.
Why are you live right now, Tim?
I'm live?
Oh, you must have posted something. Anyway, what happened to you, Rob?
I angrily left the chat.
Is that what you did?
I know it.
Why did you angrily leave the chat?
Hey, keep going. Sorry. I was thinking a joke.
Okay, I didn't know you were being serious.
No.
I don't want to upset you.
No, keep going.
You're one of the 5 people that I want in my
Finish
corner.
the story, one of you. God. We have less than a minute.
Well, okay. Well, maybe, less than 1 minute. Well, I'm just going to wait then, because there's less than a minute left.
How long is this story?
First of all, when it's told properly, it goes on for about 5 minutes. When it's told properly. When it's told but Keith's nonsense way.
Let me interject a joke. What's the difference between a golf ball and a G-spot?
What?
Men will hunt forever for a golf ball.
Not the way I play.
Do you have rim shots in your soundboard?
No, but I do have.
Wah wah wah.
So this is my proclamation.
Lord Malik.
I know you can't see it, but I'm now a lord.
What?
I'm now a lord.
Oh dear.
Lord Keith Malik, hereafter referred to as the Lord, has by way of notice this 15th day of July in the year 2020. Blah 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 blah. So I have a 1 by 1 foot plot of land in Scotland that was purchased for me. And that's my proclamation for it. So
Congratulations.
It makes me a lord.
All right. Allow me to correct the record with this shooting story.
No, let's wait. Not quite there. Sorry.
No.
So after the shot comes through the window,
God, here we go.
holy shit! I duck down. Rob's on the couch. He's like, "Oh my god!" And then he's like, "No, it's a car backfiring. It's a whatever." Cops end up coming. Like, we call the cops. I'm like, no, somebody shot through the window. That was a gunshot. Call the cops. Cops end up coming upstairs to the apartment. They knock on Erica's door. I try to wake Erica from sleeping. She is passed out drunk and does not wake up. She's still breathing. So that's something. Hasn't choked on her tongue. But yeah, and then the cops come back the next day, and we actually find that the bullet went through the window, hit the roof, bounced off the roof, hit the back wall, and then fell behind Erica's computer.
If I may.
Okay.
So the incorrect story.
This is the story as it actually transpired.
So after the brownies and the fake,
2009.
Was it 2009 though?
It was 2009, 2010. Yeah, it was 2009.
Who's on the radio?
Good question. I don't actually recall what was in the radio. I was in the Westmount area. That's why I know it was 2009, because I was crashing there, so I was living downtown. Anyways, the noise came up from outside. The kerfuffle. That part was correct. There was a kerfuffle outside. And Keith is at one window here, having a cigarette. There's another window over here, closer to the computer. We're both watching poker on the computer on the opposite window. I'm laying on the couch with the blanket on. All right. That's the scene has been set. The kerfuffle occurs. Keith says, there's some fighting going on downstairs. And I say, the one thing I don't miss about living downtown. The next thing we know, the window over here, not above Keith, but over here, the top of the window explodes out. Glass flies across the room. And I'm like, holy shit. And Keith's like, "Oh God, we're being shot at," and I'm like, "What?" And there was disbelief, but wait for it. So I go over and I bend down, and I'm like, I have my phone on me, and I'm like, I bend down next to the window, and I'm like this, like
He's
taking a picture.
crouched below the windowsill. Okay, I do remember that. Crouched below the windowsill, and I'm pretty sure it was a flip phone. Was it on a flip phone? Flip phone
It's
or
on a
something?
flip phone, yeah. That's all I have.
Holding his hand up, just a flip phone, taking random pictures outside of his window.
Hoping that something. I'm like, the police will need to see this. So they're all blurry. I showed it to the police, but the police are like, "This is useless to us." Like, "Are you sure? This is great. Look at this. This is right here. You can see this. That's my thumb. Never mind." So, anyways, the point is, the police are called to the scene. They come up. And they examine. One of them is a ballistics expert, apparently. They examine the scene of the crime. They determine this is where the whole rock thing comes from. The police. They determined that it was a rock that had been thrown out from the street. Now, Keith, to his credit, appears to be more of a ballistics expert than they are, because he points out to them, rightly, that any rock with enough force to get through 2 panes of glass, which is what would be required to get through the window, would still be in the room.
It also
would not bounce back into the street. That's not how momentum works. So they say, "We have all this glass out here, but where's the rock?" He asks them, and they poo-poo him because he's not a ballistics expert, and then they leave.
Are you glad that cops in London make like 6 figures?
Right. So they leave. A few minutes later, and this is the part where I get in my own head, because the cops have successfully gaslit me, and I'm like, "No, you're right. Yeah, maybe it was just a rock." He's like, "No, you idiot." To his credit, he called me an idiot. He said, "No, it was definitely not a rock." And then a little while later, the police buzz up again. They come up they weren't contrite in any way. They're like, we open the door, and like, so it appears you were shot at. And Keith's like, "No fucking shit." So anyways, they come into the room, and they kind of look around, and we find out what the story is. The story is that down below, on the street below, coming out of the club that had once been above the rec room, these group of people were arguing, yelling, and one of the people, who I guess was from the States, had a 9mm on him. He pulls out the 9mm and fires what he thinks is going to be a warning shot above their heads and above the buildings, right? But he aims it improperly, and it fires through the one window where there's people at it. And he realizes what happens and runs away. But it's a 9mm, so there's very little power. So when it gets through the window, that takes a lot of the energy right there. So it bounces harmlessly off the ceiling, and then eventually, as they say, they find the bullet crumpled behind the computer where the poker tournament was playing. And that's where the bullet was found. Had the person been 10 feet more, this is where the bulletproof blanket comes in, had the person been 10 feet more over to the right, or to the left, I guess, it would have bounced off of my chest and bounced behind, harmlessly off my chest.
And how strong would you have felt if a bullet right off your chest?
I did. Sorry, I did forget that I was actually at the other window. I did forget that.
No, that part was the part that the rock thing. The rock thing is funnier when it comes to the cops.
Okay, that is true. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was funny. But yeah, that's when you learned that I'd already been shot.
Right.
I'd already been stabbed.
And you should be a ballistics expert at the police department, because you knew what was going on, and the rest of us had no idea.
They should pay me 6 figures to be
Every time I tell the story,
that was a bullet.
By the way, every time I tell the story, Keith, I tell the story a lot. Every time I tell that story to people, you're always the hero of the story. By the way, you're always like my buddy had it all. My buddy had it all figured out, and no one else believed him. Like, it was pretty. So don't worry.
They call me Matlock.
They call you Matlock. Yeah.
Yeah. Columbo, actually Columbo.
Yeah.
Matlock and Columbo, Troy, are television detectives.
Matt Lumbo. I'd watch that show.
I would assume this is a long time ago.
So I have to ask this question. This is an important question that only Troy will care about, and I apologize for this. Have you started reading it yet?
Which one?
Rhythm of War.
Oh, I finished it.
Oh yeah. You and my buddy Chris have both finished it. I got it last week. I've started reading it. I have it like on audiobooks. I started listening to it. I just don't get enough time to listen to it. So
So I was looking through the fandom